You know that moment in Indiana Jones where the guy's face just melts clean off of him in front of the Ark of the Covenant? Yeah, we're not about that today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Summer is upon us. Today, I'm going to show you two different looks of how to get your summer beautiful makeup to last all day long. Keyword is sweat proof. Keyword is lasting power. Keyword is not budging. You get it. One look is going to be for my natural curlies. Maybe you're just going out to the beach. Maybe you just came back from the beach and you're just wanting a super simple, minimalistic summer look. You're not going to pack on a ton of product. That's going to be look number one, and it's going to be completely drugstore. Listen, I got you. The next look is going to be a little bit more in my comfort zone. It's going to be full glam, full beat, but when you really need your makeup to stay. I'm talking festival, I'm talking a concert, I'm talking out to dinner, on a date, taking pictures, you get it. It's going to be how to make all of that beautiful makeup last and make it as budge proof as possible. I have also picked out all my complexion products that I think are going to work for all skin types. So I have dry to combo skin. I've picked out complexion products that I've heard from very good authority that work for oily skin types as well. So you can absolutely utilize anything in this video with any skin type that you have. I will mention different techniques for different skin types. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. Don't forget to subscribe, save, and like this video for more content like this. And without further ado, let's get on into it. I'm gonna scooch in closer. Get my little handy dandy trusty rusty self together here. So the very first thing we are going to talk about, because this is an absolutely necessary step, is of course going to be prepping your skin with some sort of SPF protection. This is so vitally important and definitely something you absolutely need to not skip, especially in the summer. It's going to prevent wrinkles. It's going to keep you protected from very important things like skin cancer. We got to do it, girls. There are so many incredible, beautiful PFs out there, but my favorite kind is the one from La Roche-Posay. I usually use SPF 50 or over, and this one is going to be another shortcut because this one is tinted. I use this on days where I want to wear the most minimal makeup, but I have to put on a sunscreen, so you might as well give yourself a little bit of coverage, even when you're not going in with foundation. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can take a really beautiful summer makeup look, but this top is so itchy. I'm usually not a primer person. I usually just put on my SPF and my skincare and I go. But when you're looking for longevity, especially, is the time to kind of use a primer. And of course, the number one from the drugstore right now, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This really does make a difference. So I'm going to go in a little bit. Actually, I lied to you. While I'm waiting for my SPF to sort of soak in, I'm going to go and do my brows before I have any other product on my face, so that they don't slip and slide around. This is just the e.l.f. Brow Lift, and I'm going to take a little spoolie from e.l.f. as well and lock my brows into place. Brush them up a little bit first, make sure they're in the shape that you want. I love this product. So I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer and just put on a little bit in strategic areas. You really don't need to put this everywhere. I also would pat it in and wait a few minutes for it to get tacky. Now I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of layering here, but you could do as minimal amount of this as possible. You could just put on your tinted SPF and a little bit of concealer and go in with your color products, which would be your bronzer and your blush. But I'm going to show you, in case you want a little more daily coverage, how to do that. So first of all, I'm just going to take a little bit of this NYX Pro Fix Stick. This is my favorite from the drugstore for spot concealing. And I'm just going to just tap over a little bit of the blemishes that I have before I go in with a complexion product. These are some of my favorite complexion products from the drugstore in order of coverage and also longevity. First, we have the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint. This is gorgeous and definitely something that looks exactly like skin. It's very undetectable, but really gives a really nice finish. This is the very famous e.l.f. Halo Glow. This is going to give you a really beautiful, flawless filter, kind of gorgeous, clean girl, shiny kind of a look. And then if you're looking for the most lightweight, most staying power, but definitely a little bit more fuller coverage, this is going to be my personal favorite. This is the Maybelline Super Stay Skin Tint. And then another close second behind, this is the Lumi Matte Foundation. So basically two different finishes. This is very much more glowy, pearlescent, and has a little bit more coverage. Feels a little bit heavier on the skin. and this one is very, very lightweight, and you can make it a little more matte or a little more glowy depending on the base products you have underneath. So for today, I'm going to do a little bit of a mix. I'm going to take my Milani Conceal and Perfect and just do a little bit of this with a tiny bit of the Maybelline Skin Tint. Honestly, you could mix any of these and they would give you a really gorgeous finish though. It just kind of depends on what you're going for that day. Now, if you want to make this look as simple as humanly possible, I want to invite you to go out and get a bronzer shade. And what that means is it's going to be like your bronzer and your blush in one. So this cuts down on the amount of product and the amount of steps that you're going to have to do. You can just throw this color on and it looks like a mixture between giving you some life and color back into your skin without being extremely J-Lo or way too baby doll pink. My current favorite blush formula from the drugstore is the new Morphe Cheek Thrills, and this is in the shade After Party. It's a really gorgeous, natural blush bronzer kind of tone, perfect for what we're going for. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a Morphe, this is a Morphe M202 brush, and I'm going to go in with the cream shade here and just pick up a little bit of that and really kind of just dust this all over. Anywhere the sun would naturally hit, and you're not going to want to be too precise with this because unfortunately, I don't know if you know this, but the sun doesn't actually naturally contour us exactly where we want it. So if some things are not perfectly placed, that's actually going to make it look a little more natural. So don't be afraid, kind of go to town with this and have fun with it. I'm also going to take this across my nose a little bit again because the sun would naturally hit the bridge of our nose. This gives us more of a sun-kissed kind of look. Also for balance, I'm just going to dab a little bit of this on my chin. Yeah. So taking a step aside for a second, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Sasso lip liner stain, and this is in the color Pink, and I'm going to go ahead and apply this because in about 15 minutes it's going to dry, and then we're going to take it off and have an actual stained lip liner that is going to stay all day, even if you put on a bunch of balms or lip gloss to keep your lips hydrated. Okay, so this might be totally your vibe, but since we're looking a little fresh-faced, I'm actually going to go in and let you know if you still want a little bit more glow, or if your body is tanned and you're trying to match your tan and still feel a little bit natural, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Milani Cheek Kiss in the color Spilling Tea, and using a cream bronzer is really going to just lock in everything because it's still thin. We're still working in layers, but you're going to have a really nice buildup of color, and a little bit of the body of the cream is going to hold on to the skin. Just gonna take a little bit of this, give me a nice bronze. Don't forget to get into your hairline, especially as well. Any of y'all have any upcoming fun summer trips? I have one I'm so excited for. It's like our only trip of the summer, or it's the only trip of the year, basically. And so I'm like thinking everything I can on it. I'm like, I gotta look perfect. I gotta do my nails. I gotta do all the things I don't normally do. I'm so excited. We're going to Florida and we just don't got the money to do like a whole bunch of trips all the rest of the year. So this is our one and done. And we're super, super lucky to get to go anyway. It has already been canceled because of all kinds of family stuff going on. So I'm so excited to get that show on the road. Let me know if you have any like super fun trips I can live vicariously through y'all too. And look how easily this peels off. Voila. Right? Okay, so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with actually a cheek stain. Now this obviously, hopefully you get the purpose of this. It's actually going to sink in a little bit into your skin and stain your cheeks. This one is from e.l.f. This is the Sheer For It Blush Tint. This is so great. Every time I use this, I'm so shocked at how evenly pigmented this comes out on my cheeks. So just go ahead, give all of your sun-kissed areas a little dabby dab dab and blend this out. If you're somebody who really doesn't like the feeling of a bunch of makeup sitting on your face, a sheer watery kind of tint is just going to be your best friend because it really feels like a little bit of water on your face and then it dries down and you don't notice that at all. Next, instead of putting on a bunch of concealer, I'm actually going to take a little bit of the Morphe Under Eye Brightener, and this is in the color Blossom. And I'm just going to just place that right in the little bits where I just need to look a little more awake, a little more like I got a lot of sleep, which is a lie, but you know, Taking my BK Beauty Angie A506 and just give that a good buff. Make sure to get a little bit on your eyelids. Honestly, if you want your makeup to look super natural though, covering up your eyelids and making them completely blank with concealer is like a dead makeup giveaway. So don't worry about it too much. I just do it enough to sort of tone down the redness on my eyelids because that's just not attractive. Bada bing, bada boom. Next, we're going to just set that a little bit. And frankly, longevity doesn't exist without powder. It just doesn't, unless you want to just go in with your skin and a stain, then you might be good to go. But for the most part, if you're wanting to look a little bit more put together, you're going to need some powder on your face. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection powder. I'm just going to take a little bit of that on my triangle puff and dab off the excess. Just set under my eyes really quickly. And if you want to make this as minimal as possible, just set all the areas that you tend to either crease or get pretty oily. And then we're going to go in with a couple more powders for any of the other areas. This is not like intense baking sesh day. Okay, next, this has been a discovery of mine that has been just a staple in my makeup routine. I can't live without it. So this is the Morphe Cloud Light Soft Glow Veil, and I have the color Sunset. So this is the darkest one in the line. And what I use it for is a bronzer. It's like a really, really smooth, beautiful powder that has like a sheen to it. And it's meant to be like a facial setting powder. Do you see how it kind of has a little bit of a sheen to it? And I use this for a bronzer because I don't want my bronzer in the summer, especially, to be too matte. I think that when everywhere else in your face has some glow and then the areas that are supposed to be sun-kissed are too flat, it can make it look less realistic. And this looks a little more like skin in my opinion, and just bronzy, glowy, Love Islandy, you get the vibe. This BK Beauty 103 brush is the one for bronzer. It is just the one. So again, I'm not being too precise with this. I'm kind of making it pretty messy, and I'm just setting the areas that we put all of our color down. Don't be afraid, this is not going to look crazy. You just take a little bit of what's left over and go over all those sun-kissed spots. Then, less product for the win. You are also going to take this. I'm going to take the same powder and just very haphazardly place it in my eye socket for just some dimension that is tied in with the colors that we have going on the rest of the face. Nothing too precise, sort of take that down here as well. Again, you can really make this makeup look as minimal as possible. So if you want to do nothing on your eyelids, totally fine. I kind of love that look. If you want to do just this, great. I'm just going to take it that one step further. Stop whenever you feel comfortable. So if you just want like a simple, gorgeous, everyday, or even nighttime summer eyeshadow look, you just need one good scattered glitter and you're good to go. So I'm going to take this one from ColourPop. This is the shade Ritz, and it is so stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got a gorgeous reflex to it. Super easy. All you're going to do is you're just going to take it on your finger like this and just gently tap it on your eyelid. And this just gives your look a little something something without you trying too hard. Okay, next I'm just going to grab a really simple brown liner and just go in right underneath your lashes. I really don't want too heavy of a liner. I kind of want like a beautiful glam enhanced look of like she's wearing no makeup. And so I just want to give the illusion that my eyelashes are thicker and not that I have eyeliner on. So I'm just going to tightline the inside of my eye. And I'm just going to curl my lashes and throw on some mascara. Okay, I just applied a little bit of the L'Oreal Lash Paradise in a color brown. This just keeps everything very natural, very warm, and definitely going to enhance anybody's eye color a lot and not look too harsh. So I love a good brown mascara. This one's one of my favorites. Lastly, I'm going to go back in with the Morphe blush palette and just take the bottom color, which is a powder, and just pick up some of that on the same brush here, top off the excess, and I'm going to set all of that color into place right along here. I know this is a little more of a natural look, but I'm telling you, if there's any time and place to go a little bit overboard with your blush before you leave the house, it's summer. It will fade. Just like, look at me and my eyeballs. You got to trust me on this. It will fade. Okay, so now for a little fun moment. I have a couple of my own freckles, but when I really want them to kind of show up and when I want to look like I have a ton more and therefore wearing less makeup, I take a little freckle pen. This is the Nabla Freckle Maker, and I'll kind of go over where I naturally would have my own freckles. And I just make a couple dots like this, tap it in with my finger, very subtly. Lastly, for lips, we are going to, of course, want a lip stain. But if you want something that's a little more hydrating, you know I got you. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my lips first with the e.l.f. blush tint. This actually looks really gorgeous and definitely, in my opinion, is like a really good dupe for the Benetint tint. This, by the way, I think is their darkest color. I think this is in the shade Left on Red. Now, once that dries down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put on the NYX Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serum because this is going to feel like a gloss. And then if you ever wipe this off or eat this off, you're going to be left with a gorgeous stained color. So we've got 2 in 1. It's going to feel hydrating and like butter on your lips. This is going to be key. For the final and probably, honestly, the most important touch is using a really good setting spray. One of my favorites you can pick up is the Milani Make It Last setting spray. This is incredible. Or right now, the one I have, oh gosh, my mirror's falling. The one I have open is the Miracle Flawless setting spray from MCO Beauty. So I'm going to go ahead and spritz this a little bit first, and it's just going to wake my skin up. I don't know what your grandma smells like, but that one smells like mine. Lastly, I'm going to take the L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. Now, this is controversial. My hot take in this is I like this stuff. I love the one size setting spray, and this is essentially that for less of the price. When you want longevity, like, you got to do what you got to do, you know, like, you can kind of sacrifice it. If you want a little more comfort, then go with it, and it may come off eventually. If you want it to never come off, no matter what you're doing, you got to put hairspray in your face, essentially. So, okay, guys, that is look number 1. What do you think? I actually love this. I think it's so flirty and sweet. It's very simple, but you still look really beautifully sun-kissed, maybe a little sunburned, but I think this is actually really gorgeous. Deja vu, we're back. I told you that lip stain was not going anywhere. This time it's going to be a little bit more glam, a little less everyday, a little less quick to apply, but you are going to look so stunning. I'm going to be using basically whatever products I feel like, whether that's high-end or drugstore. It's just going to be my favorite products if I were going to do this look on myself for beach pictures or anything like that. So we're going to hopefully look like a bronzed goddess. Starting out with the Kosas Dream Beam Sunlit SPF 40. My skin hates when I do this twice, and I'm like, you gotta get over it. This is for my girls. You gotta get over it. I don't want to hear none of the screaming and crying from you. Already, this Dream Beam gives us a really pretty glow. Now, for the primer I'm going to use for this side of my face. Rude. It is definitely going to be another grip primer, but this one is my favorite for summer. This one is the Milk Hydro Grip and Glow Primer. So this one has a little bit of really beautiful golden reflex and sheen to it, but it's basically the grip and glow primer with a really gorgeous underlit glow to it. How many times can I say glow in this? But you get it, right? So it's like the best of both worlds. It's like we mixed glow drops in with our grippy primer. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and put on my face. And again, you don't need a lot of this. And what I would do is avoid this area right here. I know that sometimes, oh God. I know that sometimes we tend to sweat right there, but if you put a bunch of glow there, it's going to make it look like you're already sweating there. You know what I mean? So avoid your little mustache area. Just place this around our face, and it's going to give a gorgeous underlit sheen to the rest of our makeup. Okay, complexion. So what I'm going to use for complexion today, I want to say, if you want something a little less slippy, but you love the Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury, she has essentially that in a stick form. This is her Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint. It is so beautiful, and it's basically like that with a little bit more gripping power, in my opinion. If you want something, an SPF is like a really big concern for you, I would go with the CL Tint and Protect Skin Tint. It's got SPF 50 in it, so it's going to give you such a beautiful, great extra coverage. And so it's going to give you a really beautiful extra amount of protection. And then also this one is just, the finish of it is stunning. It's very hydrating and thin and watery feeling on the skin. So it doesn't feel heavy. It gives a really good light to medium amount of coverage, and it's really beautiful. Lastly, if you want to go in with a really gorgeous foundation, again, any of the drugstore ones are going to be just as good. But if you already have this in your collection and you're wondering, this one is a really other great one for summer. It's a like light to a medium coverage, so you can build it up to have more coverage. But if you have really beautiful freckles or some skin that you really want to show through, this one is a really good one as well. I'm going to start out with a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury stick. I personally love the way this makes my skin look, and then I'm going to go in and mix it with a little bit of NARS because if you can't tell, I'm a cocktail-y makeup kind of person. And I'm going to again take my BK Beauty 101 brush and just start to buff that in. Woo! We're going to need some bronzer up in here. This is my summer shade. Once I blended that in, I'm just going to take a little bit of a sponge because it's summer and I don't want too much. I'm just going to use this to really blend this all in and take out any of the excess. I'm really not a sponge person anymore. I almost never use them. But on something like this, the key to longevity is working in medium layers. You never want anything that's going to be too full coverage right off the bat. And this just kind of ensures that I don't have that because I can tend to be heavy-handed just naturally. This also preserves some of that moisture in our skin as well. Next, a really gorgeous, beautiful bronzer for summer is the Cali Ray Sun Drip Skin Boosting Peptide Serum Bronzer. So this stuff is so lightweight, it looks like skin. It's got hyaluronic acid, coenzyme CoQ10, and vitamin E. It's a clean formula, and you can mix this in with your foundation. You can put it underneath your foundation. You could use it on your body. This just gives me the most natural yet J-Lo-esque kind of a bronze. And so I'm going to go ahead, take a little bit of this, pick it up on my brush, and kind of just start to go in and go ham. This is also really lovely to work with because it doesn't start out too crazy pigmented. If you're a beginner, you can really work with this and build it up quite nicely. And I'm kind of bringing this more on the apples of my cheeks and, like I said, a little bit more places than I would if I were trying to keep it looking a little less sun-kissed. I still want that almost imperfectly sculpted sort of effect. Next, I'm going to top that off with a little bit of the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. Something I've really loved doing recently is layering my creams and my liquid bronzers. I just think they look so good together. This seriously is one of my favorite cream bronzers. I'm going to take a little bit more of the Milani Cheek Kiss in the shade Spilling Tea, kind of set the liquid and bring just a little more color to it. Taking this a little more intentionally around the chin and the jawline this time to kind of sculpt. Next, I feel like the ultimate bronzer shade is the Rhode Pocket Blush in the shade Toasted Teddy. And I'm going to go ahead, you know what? And I love going on with these on my cheeks for funsies, but in reality, if I'm doing a little bit more of a heavier look, I'm going to take some on the back of my brush like this and place it here. It's such a unique, gorgeous shade. It's also like perfect for nighttime because it's a little darker as well. You could also do like a really gorgeous, like, what's the other like muted pink color in her collection called? It's called like Sleepy Girl. That would be super pretty as well. A different kind of vibe, but like a really light baby doll pink that's not too purple, kind of has some brown in it, would be really pretty. Okay, going in with my favorite concealer ever. This is the Hourglass concealer, and it is a little bit drier. And for longevity and stopping it from creasing and everything, that's kind of what you want. You want something that is not quite a serum concealer that is going to easily have too many oils and hyaluronic acid, and it's just not going to stay at all. So this is the driest formula that is beautiful, completely flawless, and also doesn't feel as dry to me as some other ones. So for that, it is definitely my favorite. For our nose contour, now that we've got a bunch of color on our nose, it's going to be so easy to just go down the center of your nose with a perfect line of concealer. Once we let that sit and blend it out, you're going to have like a natural nose contour. It's like you didn't even try. I'm going to start blending this out. And the places that I'm leaving my concealer on the longest is going to be my under eyes or anywhere for you that you have problems with it creasing. So I've already let my concealer sit for a few minutes to get drier and tackier. That is going to actually make it last so much longer. And you are then going to go, after it's been sitting for a while, then going to blend it out. It is going to keep the amount of pigment. It's going to keep its placement so much better. And it's actually going to not crease as much. Blend it out down the nose a little bit. Okay, remember this is also a makeup longevity tutorial, so I'm going to take my setting spray. Once again, this is the MCO Beauty setting spray. And now that all my creams are finished, I'm going to just give my face a quick spritz before we go in with powder. And while we're waiting for that to dry, I want to try the Maybelline Super Stay Lock Tinted Brow Glue. I've actually never even tried the original, but I hear so many good things about it. I just slam dunked that into the trash. And something that is an intense hold brow glue is not only going to hold your brows in place, but you also kind of get to skip a step by filling in your brows when it's tinted. So hopefully that's nice. Okay. So before we go in with powder, we're going to take our damp beauty sponge and we're going to really make sure everything is perfectly blended and all of that setting spray has melted into our skin. All right, if you really want to look flawless and lock something into place, I'm going to use my Huda Beauty powder, and this is in the shade Cupcake. Nothing too innovative here, just a good old tried and true. Now listen, I know this is a little old school, but I'm going to do a little mini bake, okay? So when you do baking, you want to go ahead and set down first with a really small amount of powder, and then you want to go in and bake underneath. Okay, then I'm going to take a fluffier brush and take a little bit of the excess powder and just lightly dust it down here. You could do it with a triangle, but frankly, I'm lazy. But the point is, your entire face needs to be powdered. Sorry about it. If you don't want it to go places, you need powder everywhere. How to make the rules is the way it works. Trying to help you, don't be afraid of it. And when you have a powder this beautiful, it's not going to look like cake face, even though it's called Cupcake. Don't worry, I will show you how to fix it if it feels too dry. Next, something really fun I think we're gonna do while our eyes are baking is I'm gonna go in with the brand new Morphe palette. This is their new eyeshadow palettes. This is in the shades Flickering Sands. It's just a bunch of really good warm tones. It even comes with a little bit of instructions to give you a good roadmap of how to do your eyes. Love that. So first of all, let's go ahead and just set our eyes. I'm just going to take the lightest shade here. Just set our eyes so that there is no creasing. Again, this look isn't going to be too involved. It's just going to be a little something, something. I'm going to go in with, I think I'm going to mix, how warm do we want to be? You know what? We're going to start out with less is more. I'm going to mix these two neutral shades here, this one and this one right here, and just start putting this in the crease. Yeah, this is really pretty. I grew up with 2018 Jaclyn Hill, more like 2014 Jaclyn Hill. And so the urge to put a bright orange in my crease, I think will just always be there, and like a yellow. So I got to try to chill for a second, but these are some really beautiful natural colors that have almost a little bit of cool in them. So that's really cool about this palette is it does have one or two kind of cooler shades you can work with where they're not all just like, here's a sunset on your eyes. I'm not complaining about it, just it's different. Okay, next I do want to take a little bit of that warm shade because I can't help myself. And I'm just going to go a little bit in this outer corner here and kind of just dust that all over the lid here. Yeah, that's really pretty. This orange is not too orange. It almost has a little bit of like a reddy pink in it as well. So I'm really just kind of taking that pretty much all over the lid, avoiding the inner third of my eye here. And then I think I want a little more dimension in the outer bit of my eye. So I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit of this darker shade and just a tad of this red, just to keep this brown a little bit more on the red side. And I think I'm just going to put that right here to smoke out a little bit of the lash line. Next, I want to take this gorgeous shade right up here. I can barely point to it. Next, I'm going to take this gorgeous shade right up here that is screaming at me, and maybe a little bit of this on the inner corner here. Oh my goodness. This looks beautiful. I hope it's as pigmented as it looks. Oh, I love just a good scattered glitter effect. I think it's so beautiful. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of the Makeup Forever Artist Extreme Color Pencil, and this is in the shade Limitless Brown. These are supposed to not budge and not go anywhere, and I'm just going to ever so slightly define my lash line almost as small as I can, but I just want my lashes to be a little bit more defined. Really thin, really beautiful. Okay. Next, take a little brush and just dust off the bake. Now we're looking a little dusty. So next we're going to go in with a little bit more of the expensive version of our Morphe powder. Honestly, I love them both. Why can't I love them just as much, but this is such an oldie but a goodie. This is MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Global Glow. And I thought I had MAC Give Me Sun, but apparently not. I was given this by my mom. She didn't want it anymore, and I was like, gimme that OG MAC. And again, this shimmer just brings a little bit more life to the face. When working with longevity as the goal in our makeup, it's all about layers, and definitely powder is going to be an absolutely crucial step in our makeup routine. You can just see how much that enhances my face. I do have another one for you. I've been trying out the Polite Society Cabana Club Blurring Bronzer. And if you have a lot of texture on your cheeks that you don't want to emphasize with a shiny powder, I highly suggest getting something like this. Or a Hulu bronzer. Honestly, matte bronzers clearly have their place. And definitely if the texture in your face is concentrated a lot in your cheeks, then you can avoid a shiny bronzer and definitely go with a more matte one, and it will hide those imperfections a lot better. So for powder blush, I'm going to go in with the Patrick Ta blush in She's Blushing. This is just a really beautiful sort of natural color, but his blushes are so pigmented and they're really gorgeous. And then I'm going to go in with the Kosas blush in the shade Dreamland. And these are super beautiful for giving your face a really gorgeous sheen without emphasizing texture. So I really love layering these two. I can't live without blush. Y'all know this. Everybody in my life knows this, but this look is much more bronzer concentrated. I don't want the blush to look like all of a sudden there's a bunch of bright pink on my face. So we're keeping the blush color sort of in the neutral sunburnt family. Okay, now if your face is looking a little too mattified, especially with that Huda Beauty setting powder for your liking in the summer, I want you to take an Hourglass powder. This is the Lightning Infinity powder. And if you wanted to do this from the drugstore, again, you could get the Morphe powder in a lighter shade and it's going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to take a little bit of this on a very fluffy, not very dense brush like this and just dust this basically all over. This is not exactly going to look like a highlighter, but it is going to give such a very unique just sheen back to the face that you would naturally have if your face was not full of powder. So it's going to kind of bring back that skincare, very skin-like look to your face and just give it a little more life. And one thing you're going to love about that powder is it doesn't feel like an extra layer on your face. It's so lightweight, you will barely feel it. It's always scary when you have a cap open and you can't find your eyeliner. Oh, here it is. Going back to that Morphe palette for a second, I'm just going to finish up the lower lash line. I'm going to take our two darker colors again like this, and very lightly, I'm just going to sweep this under our lashes. And then next, we're going to take that eyeliner once again, and then we're going to just put this in our waterline. And I love using a dark brown. It's not as harsh as a black, but it's really going to make your eyes stand out. Now, actually, that didn't work out as well as I thought. I had to really try to dig in there and try to make that work. So what I end up doing to make my waterline last all the time anyway is I go and I take a dark brown on a little definer brush like this, and I honestly just lightly stamp my lash line. I'll either do it over a liner so that the liner really stays, or honestly, I've done this by itself. Okay, next, another trick for longevity. If you're worried about your mascara running and smudging and getting all over the place when you're getting hot and sweaty, I actually go in with a tubing mascara because if you're like me, you have really delicate lashes and all the waterproof ones tear out your lashes. So actually, a tubing mascara is really easy to remove. It does not come off with oil or sweat or anything like that. So it comes off really easily at the end of the day with water in little tubes that you pull off your eyelashes very gently. And so I actually will just take a tubing mascara and just go over the coat of my real mascara. And this will sort of lock it into place so that you actually, oh dear, have some longevity to your makeup. That's okay, because when that inevitably happens, you know how to fix it. You're going to let it completely dry, and then you're going to take a Q-tip and just rub it off. I'm talking completely dry. Do not go in and try to smudge it like I just did. That's my lesson. That's what I get for trying to cheat at life. Now, our brows are looking like they kind of don't match up. So now that they're dry, I'm going to take a tiny little pencil and just kind of fill in the sparse parts of my brow. This is just going to go ahead and make everything match up to your face, so you don't have something incredibly natural in the midst of all of your glam. It just sort of ensures that the vibes on our face are all kind of in sync, you know, because otherwise it's like, hey, brows, get with it. I'm just using the NYX Bladen shade. It's a tiny, tiny little pencil, great for detail work. Now that that is dry, take a Q-tip and we're just going to gently, like it never happened. You're allowed to make mistakes. It's okay. All right, what look would be complete without some highlighter? And I'm going to take my favorite Rare Beauty in the shade Enlighten. I'm going to take it on a big fluffy brush. Be careful. She is so pigmented, but so beautiful. And I'm just going to place this on the high points of my face. Down the bridge of my nose, a tiny bit here, exactly where when I turn my face, the light catches. I'm also going to take a small brush and take a little bit of this and put this on the inner corners of my eye and just at the highest point of my brow bone. Lastly, I'm going to go over my lips one more time, but this time I'm going to use the super viral Huda Beauty lip stain, and this sucker does not move. I've only used it once, but oh my gosh, did I have a time getting that off? But that's exactly what I want today. So this is in the shade Toasty Brown, and I'm just going to go ahead and trace the outside of my lips a little bit. Now, seriously, if you're a balm lip gloss kind of girl, which I am, especially in the summer, this is something that you want. So once this dries down, you are not going to budge. So you can reapply, reapply again, do whatever you got to do to keep your lips hydrated and looking full and glossy. But this base color is going to stay put. So along with that, Huda Beauty launched her faux filler jelly lip oils, and I have the shade See Goji, and we're just going to apply this all over our lip to top our lip combo today. Oh my gosh, it smells like fruit snacks. That's exactly the amount of shine I want when I apply lip oils. That's what I want. Oh my gosh. Also, my pet peeve is when my lip stuff gets in the fluffy brush of my freaking lip glosses. Look, this one is completely clean. A++. Okay, for funsies, a complete look is face to neck to body, girl. We got to match everything. So I got the Dibs Status Stick. This is a face and body highlighter, and I'm just going to hit the really, really gorgeous. Oh, yes. Mama, if you're watching this, I will wash your brush. Look at that. I'm just going to take this and put a little bit on my collarbones, on my chest, and on my other shoulder. Ooh, how pretty. It also smells kind of like the Too Faced chocolate palette. Like, it's not real chocolate, but it kind of reminds me of that particular smell. If you liked that smell, which I didn't think is so bad. It smells really good. Okay. Va-va-voom for us. We're almost done. I'm going to go with my last set of setting spray. So really making sure to get the parts of our face where we baked as well, so it just brings some hydration and life back to our face. Then you guys already know. Basically, if you wanted to take none of the longevity tips or anything like that, and you just wanted to do this, I could make a longevity video about like, hey, just put this over your face. The others are added bonuses, backups, techniques you can use if you don't have this kind of stuff. But basically, this really is hairspray for your face, and it's incredible. All right, this is the finished look. What do you guys think? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I had so much fun. Let me know if you have any questions for me down below in the comments. I would love to know. Tell me where you guys are going for vacation. If you have any fun summer plans, I would love to hear all about it, and we can live vicariously through each other. Make sure you are subscribed, like this video, and send it to your bestie that you're going to a festival with or you're going to the beach with so that you both can look fabulous all day long. Love y'all so much. Remember, you are more beautiful than you think, and I will see you in the next one.